Dodie is out now on the Harder & Warner patio with some helpful tips for some fall planting. Dodie.
Michelle, I'm here with Darren from Harder & Warner, and I don't know what they're talking about in there. It is beautiful out here right now. You say it's actually cooled down a little bit.
Yeah, it's cooled down in the last hour or so. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Well, Rick has been talking about it's going to get down into the high 40s overnights on the weekend. Most of us are hearing that and thinking, okay, we got to start bringing our plants in. But according to you guys, it's a good time to start putting things in the ground.
Absolutely. Fall is a great time to plant. You've got cooler air temperatures, but the soil temperatures stay in nice and warm. So you're getting a lot of root growth, a lot of great growth going into the winter.
If we want to put something in, we all know about the mums. What's another good couple of plants or flowers we can put in now?
Well, it's a great time to put all of your plants in because of the roots coming in, but a lot of stuff is still in blossom, like these butterfly bush. The tiger eye sumac are great for fall color. The limelight and PG hydrangeas are also a great time for them to be blossoming too.
Because at this time of year, the roots are going down. That's what the plants are doing, is they're digging in deeper.
Yeah, they're really putting their growth downward right now. They're taking all those nutrients, getting ready for winter, so it's a great time to get them in.
We have many times seen the mulch man here, and obviously as Eric's shooting here, we can see a lot of mulch. You do want to be careful when we put our mulch in, right?
Absolutely. If you're putting a new tree in right now, a lot of people go with the mulch volcano idea, which really doesn't work right because it holds too much moisture right against the trunk and you get a lot of rot in your trunk wood.
Do we need to worry about anything at this time of year to start bringing things in? I know I kind of joked about it earlier, but what are our most sensitive ones?
Well, like your annuals and stuff, if you want to keep those looking nice, you will bring them into the garage. You don't need to bring them right into the house, but if you bring them into the garage, they're insulated enough that they don't frost off. And
our plants in the fall that we're putting in, are they very similar to the other ones, that the most common problem is overwatering them?
Absolutely. Overwatering is something I see almost as much as underwatering. I always joke that if our plants could yell and scream for water and food like our animals, we'd have the best looking landscapes around. But overwatering is just as bad as underwatering. And you got a big sale going on at Harder & Warner, right? It's September, so everything that grows is 30% off.
30% off, that is good. So that way if we do overwater them and we kill them, we can go back and buy new ones for cheap, right?
Certainly, certainly.
Darren, as always, thanks for coming in. We are live in the Harder & Warner patio. It is easier than we think it is. We always make it too hard, so put some stuff in the ground this time of year, Michelle. Michelle, the Kent County Health Department tells us an elderly man has died from West Nile, making it our area's second death this season. Across the country, there's been a 25% jump in new cases over the last week, bringing the nationwide total to nearly 2,000. That's according to the Centers for Disease Control, and they say at least 87 people have died. Thanks to Hurricane Isaac, people along the Gulf Coast could be at bigger risk. The trapped floodwaters are providing breeding grounds for the mosquitoes that carry the virus. West Nile has been reported in all U.S. states except Alaska and Hawaii, with Texas still leading the way in number of cases. Here's a look at West Michigan. At least 28 cases and 2 deaths have been reported in Kent County. 2 cases in Allegan, 1 in Kalamazoo, 1 in Ottawa, and 1 in Muskegon County. There have been 105 cases in the state of Michigan and 4 deaths on the east side of the state. Most people affected with West Nile don't show any symptoms or feel like they have the flu, if they have anything. People with severe cases can experience high fever or even paralysis. In the newsroom, Tim Doty, Fox 17 News. Tim. Well, as we've been saying, it looks like week 3 of the high school football season will be kind of soggy as blitz crews head out across the area tonight, but that doesn't dampen the enthusiasm of our staff or the players. Actually, it might be a little more fun. Let's head out now to the site of our game of the week, where WBBL and Fox 17's Brett Makita is standing by. Brett, we are talking Grand Haven at Lowell, and let's start with the home team here. No Gabe Dean, no problem so far, because they have one heck of a defense.
Yeah, no doubt about it, Tim. 6 points is all they've given up in 2 games, and that was that very first score in that matchup 2 weeks ago at Rockford. They won that one 16-6, then shutting out Lansing Eastern 38-0. And it's an unbelievable scene. I've never seen so much pink before in my life, guys, and it's a great cause tonight, as it's a pink out officially here in Lowell.
And that includes me on the golf course, Brett. I like to wear a little pink out there, but I don't wear as much as they are wearing at that game. Thanks for that. We will see you back here in the 6 o'clock hour to talk about some of tonight's other games.
All right, time now to turn to another installment of our Blitz Medical Moment, where we look at injuries that kids on the field and parents as weekend warriors sometimes have to deal with.
This week we're talking about elbow and shoulder injuries with Dr. James LeBold, a sports medicine specialist and orthopedic surgeon with Spectrum Health Medical Group. Football's underway and baseball is in the home stretch, so it's a safe bet that sometime in the next week or two, you're going to hear about somebody in one of those sports getting a shoulder injury.
The biggest problem we see is overuse injuries. So it's something where the athlete is playing competitive overhead sports year-round.
That's the kind of thing that can cause the dreaded rotator cuff problem.
The rotator cuff is a group of tendons that encompasses the shoulder. It actually allows you to elevate your shoulder above your chin and works very specifically in baseball players to help them torque and throw the ball. Yeah, quarterbacks particularly, we've got a couple quarterbacks here behind me, but certainly we've seen rotator cuff injuries in quarterbacks.
And since we're talking about quarterbacks, they also have to deal with injuries that occur from contact.
The shoulder slides out of the socket, so the ball would separate from the socket itself, slide out of place. And the reason that happens is there's a gasket that surrounds the shoulder that helps stabilize the shoulder. And that gasket tears, the ball slides out of the socket, and you have what we call those dislocations. And those are the athletes usually you see on the sidelines walking off. Their arm is drooped to the side, or they're holding their arm, and their athletic trainers or their team physicians on the sideline are trying to put it back in place.
Most of us will never get tackled by a 300-pound defensive lineman, though we still get aches and pains in our shoulders and elbows. And if you feel something out of the ordinary, step one is give it a rest.
Give it some time. Give it 2-3 days. If the pain persists, then you may want to consider taking a look at having your physician take a look at it. But the biggest things you want to look for are loss of motion that doesn't return. So you can't move your elbow all the way. You can't move your shoulder all the way. And pain that wakes you at night. Those two things are indicative of other issues that may be going on deeper in the joint.
If a break and some ibuprofen don't do the trick, it's time to see somebody, but don't sweat it. Just because you're seeing a doctor doesn't mean you're going to have surgery.
In fact, the majority of patients we see in our office are non-operative, or we're able to treat them conservatively. We have a great group of physical therapists, but my goal is to get the athlete back to their game as safely and as quickly as we can. So we want to get these athletes back. It's what we do. It's why I went into sports medicine. I was an old athlete myself, and I had great experiences growing up with athletic trainers and then orthopedic surgeons who got me back playing sports. And I want to be able to do the same for the athletes and get them back playing the key as safely as they can.
Dr. LeBolt there got his start studying under Dr. James Andrews, a famed sports medicine orthopedic surgeon down in Alabama. And he says preservation is key, especially when you're dealing with kids. If you get them back into the game too soon before those injuries have healed, they're going to have long-term effects like arthritis, things like that. Think of NFL guys from the 1950s and 60s who can barely move now because they didn't properly heal up.
As always, you can also go to the Spectrum Health Medical Group Fall Sports Injury Clinic. It is open Saturdays through October 27th. It's free. It runs from 8:30 till 10 every Saturday.
Yep, we have a link to that on our website.